It unseated the Patterson as Bismarck's prominent luxury hotel, attracting politicians and celebrities, and became nationally recognized as one of the most successful franchises of an iconic hotel chain. It broke the franchise's mold and set a trend common in hotels today. The historic Bismarck Holiday Inn, with your host Randy Hoffman on History Talk, where we step back through local history to explore the people, places, and events that shaped our community. History Talk streams exclusively Thursdays at 10 a.m. on KFYR+. Bismarck's historic Holiday Inn opened in 1962. It was the first Holiday Inn to open west of Minneapolis in north of Sioux Falls. At its prime, Bismarck's Holiday Inn was the city's highest-earning hotel and among the top-earning Holiday Inns nationwide, an achievement formally recognized. The Holiday Inn was Bismarck's first modern hotel banquet facility. While it wasn't the city's first hotel with a swimming pool, a milestone claimed by the Fleck House by about a year, it later became the city's first indoor pool. Not only that, Bismarck's Holiday Inn was the first in the chain to enclose a pool, against the objection of Holiday Inn's corporate office. There is no doubt that the Holiday Inn was Bismarck's most prominent hotel for years. It hosted numerous celebrities and politicians, including President Ronald Reagan, then Vice President George Bush, and Vice President Walter Mondale, author Pearl Buck, and columnist Ann Landers. It was located on the present-day site of the Bank of North Dakota headquarters, arguably the best location for a hotel at the time of its 1962 opening, located at the crossroad between Bismarck and Mandan along U.S. Highway 10. The neighboring Liberty Memorial Bridge was the only vehicular bridge spanning the Missouri River within hundreds of miles, but this valuable location would eventually become a hindrance when Interstate 94 became the major highway only 3 years later, shifting through traffic to the north. Prior to housing the Holiday Inn, the site was home to Tyler Cabins, a resort-style lodge. The Jadens established Tyler Cabins in about 1940, who later developed and opened the Holiday Inn on the same site. The former office building for Tyler Cabins was relocated in 1964, and since 1974 has housed Little Cottage Cafe on East Main Avenue. Construction began on the $1.3 million Holiday Inn in October 1961. The first 30 units opened on July 15th the following year. That number increased to 84 units by the middle of August. It held an official 3-day grand opening beginning on November 2nd. The hotel was owned and managed locally through a board of directors that consisted of the Jaden family, who previously owned Tyler Cabins on that site, and Charles Whitty, among others. The hotel originally boasted 3 two-story buildings with 108 rooms, a small cocktail lounge, outdoor 50-foot by 25-foot swimming pool, and a restaurant. Several expansions would follow. The first expansion came in 1966 for $850,000, adding 60 rooms, a meeting room, and enclosing the swimming pool. Enclosing the swimming pool was against the objection of Holiday Inn. As a result, Bismarck's Holiday Inn was the first in the chain to include a pool indoor versus out. The biggest expansion was a 6-story tower added in 1972, bringing the total room count to 261. It also added a 7,000 square foot banquet room. At this point, the hotel was valued at over $5 million. Jaden Corporation sold the Holiday Inn in 1983. A $1.7 million renovation was completed the following year. The Holiday Inn fell from prestige during the 1990s. Between 1994 and 2001, the hotel transferred ownership 10 times and underwent numerous branding changes. In 1999 alone, 4 owners took possession of the quivering hotel. The next year, 2 owners. These were strong indications of the hotel's struggles as it grew to become a criminal haven. In 1992, Holiday Inn opted not to renew its franchise agreement with the hotel. Hotel management implied the decision was their own, but news reportings of the time indicate it was Holiday Inn who pulled the franchise.
You have to make a decision of what franchise maybe you want to change to. We opted to go with Ramada. We've got other Ramada hotels in our company. We've got one in Missouri and one in Texas. We're a multi-franchise company.
In turn, the hotel affiliated with Ramada, taking the franchise rights away from what became the Doublewood Inn. Downtown's Sheraton Galleria assumed the Holiday Inn franchise. This is today's Radisson Hotel. Prior to the Sheraton Galleria, which ironically later became a Holiday Inn franchise, the Jadon Corporation proposed in 1978 to open a Holiday Inn on the downtown site where the Sheraton Galleria would be built. The plan called for a $6.5 million hotel complete with parking ramp, very similar to what would eventually be developed there.
As developers and Jadon Corporation is going to take over the development, we've already issued to the City of Bismarck and delivered to them this week was a letter from our Board of Directors wherein we will post a $50,000 bond of performance or cash, whichever they so desire, that we will be underway in 1980 with a Holiday Inn downtown in Bismarck on that site.
It was one of 3 proposals submitted that year for the site that residents bemusedly referred to as the Hole, after buildings formerly occupied that block were demolished years before as part of urban renewal. Those plans ultimately fell through. We'll take a deeper look at the Sheraton Galleria and redevelopment of that block in a later segment. Ramada would pull the franchise only 4 years later, leaving the hotel without a national brand. The hotel rebranded as Hotel Bismarck Convention Center, before again becoming the Palace Arms. The pool area was filled in and closed, along with the lounge and restaurant. By 2001, the once glorified hotel that hosted prominent celebrities, including a sitting U.S. president, became a haven for criminals and transients. During its last year of operation alone, police received more than 200 calls to the property. The hotel closed on December 7, 2001, after MDU discontinued service for lack of payment. At the time, most of the building had already been closed off. Garbage and other debris filled the badly lit building, and vandals had repeatedly struck inside and out. There were 11 long-term tenants living at the hotel and 5 traditional guests. Most of these were hotel employees. Soon after, Florida-based First Union National Bank foreclosed on the property, whose value had degraded to only $1.26 million, roughly the initial cost of construction in 1961. At its peak, the hotel was valued at over $5 million unadjusted for inflation. After ceasing hotel operations, the former hotel was utilized for a wide variety of purposes, including worship services, police training, and even ghost hunting. The building was demolished in 2006 to make way for the new Bank of North Dakota headquarters, relocated from downtown. Originally, Bismarck Arts and Science Pavilion and the Bismarck Parks and Recreation jointly sought the site for a multi-million-dollar arts and science center. The partners even bid on the site in 2014, but were outbid soon after by Bank of North Dakota, who offered $1.88 million while assuming demolition and environmental remediation costs. Many unforeseeable contributing factors led to the hotel's ultimate demise. Arguably, the best thing that the Holiday Inn had going for it upon opening soon became a major hindrance: its location. Perhaps the most important cause for its demise was the completion of Interstate 94 in 1965, only 3 years after the hotel opened, which shifted through traffic to the north, while adding a second vehicular river crossing. The opening of the Bismarck Civic Center in 1969, neighboring Kirkwood Mall in 1971, and subsequent development of Kirkwood Motor Inn, situated directly across from Kirkwood Mall, also influenced the hotel's decline. In addition to its better location, Kirkwood Motor Inn, later the Radisson and Ramkota, added a convention center that dwarfed that of the Holiday Inns. Other modern hotels in locations with better access to attractions in closer proximity to Interstate 94 further increased competition. Among these was the Townhouse Hotel, later the Kelly Inn, the Ramada Doublewood Inn, and Sheraton Galleria, the latter of which grasped the Holiday Inn franchise. The Holiday Inn was not the only business in the area to suffer by the dramatic changes in traffic. A gas station and A&W restaurant also preceded the hotel's closure. I invite you to check out my 2 Bismarck history books. They are available to purchase on Amazon and select local bookstores. Copies are also available at the Bismarck Public Library. Visit bismarckbook.com for more information. That was our look at Bismarck's historic Holiday Inn. Next, we'll learn about Camp Hancock, Bismarck's first sanctioned settlement. Is there a local history topic you'd like to be featured? Email suggestions to historytalk@kfyrtv.com.